Yo, Lucid, I'm a 19-year-old guy. My name is Jason. I'm a YouTube and a Patreon. Jason, I know exactly who you are, bro. You bought all my merch. You go crazy on my streams. You're a Patreon and a YouTube member, dude. I love you. Thank you. So, me and my girlfriend have very different views on alcohol. Here's some backstory. I don't like alcohol. It makes me kind of uncomfortable when my girlfriend drinks it because when you're under the influence, you just aren't fully you. Your decisions aren't your own, and I mean, certain parts of the law recognize that. For an example, if you give consent for while you're drunk, the other person can be charged for. I had no idea, but that's a fun fact, I guess. If your decisions under alcohol aren't your own, are your own, then why would that be the case? That's a very, very good statement. Well, my girlfriend, she's 18, will be 19 soon, doesn't think the same. She says that if you drink responsibly, there's no harm. And I just think that the only way to be responsible with alcohol is to not drink it at all. I don't want her to feel guilted into quitting something she likes just for me, but at the same time, I'm uncomfortable with her drinking and don't know what to do about the whole situation. Just some extra information. We've been together since August 2019. We have almost the same political and religious views, which is hard for me to find. And it's also something very important to me. And we both agree that we are dating with the goal of getting married and having kids. Very important as well. Everything that's important, we agree. Other than that, one thing. Am I making a big deal out of nothing? Hope that answers the questions you might have beforehand, and it's concise enough. It definitely is. I don't think you're making a big deal at all. I think actually you're raising the proper concerns that you should. Now, for an example, most people that drink alcohol, right? They say if you do it in moderation, it's fine. You could use that same logic for everything in life. Everything technically, literally everything in moderation is probably okay, right? Fapping in moderation, okay. Drinking in moderation, you're going to be okay. Eating junk food, cake, and other bad foods in moderation is going to be okay. You won't necessarily gain weight because you had a slice of that cake last night, but it's not good for you. That's the hard truth. That's something that nobody will tell you, especially when it's so socially acceptable everywhere, especially in this country. It's so socially acceptable to be drinking. Right? Just like how it's socially acceptable to be walking down the street, staring at your phone, scrolling through your phone, and not looking up and bumping into people. That's socially acceptable, right? And as a group of human beings, as it's called society, I guess, we're usually pretty stupid. When you get the average of all human beings, usually the average of all people is a pretty stupid person, right? And when we let the average tell us what's right and what's wrong and what we can and can't do, and make the norms for everybody else to follow, we all follow stupid people because we're all following the average. This is why I recommend doing things your own way and thinking outside of the box like you're doing exactly. So when your girlfriend drinks, she says that it's okay because she's just doing it in moderation. She's not getting blacked out drunk. She's not overdoing it. But there's one undeniable fact that we all have to agree on and we all have to recognize. The same second that you take that first sip, the same second that it enters your body, your liver, your body, and your kidney, everything starts fighting it. Everything in your body starts to fight that alcohol that you just drank, right? Your body says, oh shit, this human being just drank poison. What an idiot. Let's do everything we can to get this out of his or her body. The same second that you take that sip, your body starts fighting it because it sees it as a poison, which it is. Alcohol is a mitochondrial poison, right? And if you drink in moderation, you won't necessarily have any horrible diseases or ulcers or anything happen wrong to your kidney or your body. Yeah, if you do it in moderation, that's true. But the undeniable fact is that it's not good for you, right? It takes you away from you, like you mentioned. When you drink, if you're under the influence of actually any drug, this is the main reason that I don't do it, is because I want to be able to think for myself. I want to be able to make actions and take choices for myself. People smoke, for an example. People drink, for an example, and they use the excuse, it gets rid of my anxiety. I have bad anxiety, right? It temporarily gets rid of your anxiety for a little while you're on the ascending limb of drinking or possibly smoking as well. So let's say you go out to a bar, right? And you're normally a very shy, very anxious person. You take a drink, gone. Problem is over, right? For a little while. And then you realize that while you're hitting that plateau and then you're going to start going back down again, you have to keep on bottoms up, buddy, because the longer that you don't drink, the longer you're going to go back to your old self and crash even harder. This works the same way with caffeine. I mean, this rule applies to almost everything in life, right? If you drink coffee, you're going to be more energetic. That's a fact, right? I drink coffee today, for an example, right? So if you drink coffee, your energy levels or you're going to be less tired technically, right? And that's true. But what happens after the coffee wears off after, what is it, 6 to 8 hours? You're going to crash even harder than before because you aren't getting the energy from yourself through a healthy diet, through a healthy sleep work schedule. You're not doing it the right way. You're just taking the temporary shortcut. And that's all alcohol is. It's a temporary shortcut. It's a social crutch. And it takes you away from you. If you are an anxious person, for an example, and you drink to remove the anxiety from your life, drinking is only temporarily going to put a band-aid on that bullet wound, my boy. Solve that shit by yourself. There's nothing else that you can do about it, right? If you're naturally a tired person, I'm always tired, fix your fucking sleep schedule. That's all you got to do is just sleep longer, sleep better, have a healthier diet, eat more nutrient-rich foods. These things are temporary solutions to permanent problems, right? And when you go to the way of, for example, drinking alcohol, you aren't yourself anymore because you end up not assessing risk the same way that you would. That's why people drink and drive and they crash and they do all these things that they normally would not do if they weren't drunk. It's because alcohol doesn't necessarily make you a stupid person. It just makes your risk assessment very, very poor, right? You won't make the same choices that you make when you're sober than when you're drunk. That's why people drink, right? If you're a shy guy, you're gonna take a couple shots and then go talk to that girl. But it's not you talking to that girl, bro. It's not you. It's the alcohol that's talking to her. Because once that wears off, you hit the plateau, everything starts going back downhill again. It's a short-term high, it's a temporary crutch, and it's not going to make you a better person. And the people around you are not going to be talking to you, they're going to be talking to the alcohol. So overall, all in all, in my opinion, it's a really bad trait to pick up. Even taking your first sip is a horrible idea because that's going to be that's your all-time low. You can always resort to that. It's just one sip, but you can always resort to that again the next time shit gets bad, right? There are many more stats that I can pull up. I don't know any else off the top of my head because I personally have never drank before. But I think you are not out of your mind. You are not making a problem out of this. I think what you have to do, talk to her. You have to say, hey, listen, I love you and I like you for who you are. I love your personality. I love everything about you. But I personally feel like when you're drinking or even if you're semi-tipsy, you aren't you anymore. And I love the sober you. Say it that way. Don't say, yo, stop drinking, because people tend to feel, and I realize this a lot, bro, people tend to feel they get very defensive when you tell them to stop doing something that they're addicted to or that they do habitually, right? Like if you tell somebody, yo, can you stop looking at, can you just put the fucking phone down so I can talk to you for a minute? They say, whoa, they start to get really offended, right? It happens to everybody. Like, yo, buddy, do you mind not scrolling through TikTok so that we can have a face-to-face conversation like real human beings should? They're going to get really, really offended. And they're going to start to act defensively. And they're going to fight you for it, right? The same exact way with alcohol. Same way with anything that any human does habitually, and that's also socially acceptable. So what you have to do is come out of a place of love. You have to come out of a place of positivity. Show the person that you love them and you care for them. For an example, someone's always on their phone. Tell that person, yo, listen, I love being with you. I absolutely love every single second of time that we spent together. But I feel like if you're looking down at your phone, I don't get to cherish you as much. How could you get mad at that? Unless you're literally a spawn of Satan, right? Unless you came from the nether of Minecraft, how could you get mad at someone that comes out of a place of love and tells you that? There's literally no way that form can fail. If you come to somebody telling them that you love them and that you want to be with them more, you want to talk to them more, you want to see more of them, right? But there's this habit that they do that takes you away from them. I feel disconnected when I'm with you because when you're drunk sometimes, I feel like I'm not talking to the real you and I love the real you. How do you get mad at that? That's how you make a solution to a problem. Just coming out of a place of love. Hopefully that answered your question and many other questions people might have about getting other people to change for the better. Thank you. Holy shit, that was some good advice. I'm going to actually... I'm gonna actually use that in my personal life. Thank you for watching this video, Jason. Love you. Thank you for supporting, dropping crazy donos, copying the merch. Patreon member, YouTube member, Grandmaster supporter on Patreon, dude. One of my greatest supporters, man. Thank you so much, dude. Love you. Hopefully everything goes well. DM me, let me know how that shit went. Take care, my boy. Stay dreaming, stay lucid. I'm out. Peace.